Hello, so today what we're talking about is how to move through that really hard situation when you're seeing someone, dating someone, maybe you've even been in a relationship with them and it's going really well, you've got high hopes about it, and then suddenly there's a shift. Suddenly something changes. You know the feeling, I know the feeling. So this is inspired by a question that someone sent me on Instagram. So it is always worth sliding into those DMs. So this is the question. Hey Carly, I have just finished watching your video about taking back emotional power. Thank you so much for this. I felt like you were talking about my situation completely. I have no power right now. I was with my ex for 3 months and everything was moving in the right direction. We were dating and he wasn't like anyone else. I did think he was feeling like I was. He suddenly went off and was being really distant, and we have gone on to stop speaking completely. I have no idea what happened, and he has really not even spoken to me. I can't think of anything else. I am hurt, disappointed, and just wish I could know what I did wrong. I don't know if he met someone else, he never felt anything, if he is too busy right now, or he just isn't into me. Do you have any tips on how I move through this? Firstly, I just hear the pain, I feel the pain, I know the pain. And first and foremost, please know that this is not just happening to you. People experience this in relationships and the dating world. So let's just normalize that for you a little bit. Not to minimize how you're feeling, but just to normalize it a little bit. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm Carly Ann. I'm a self-esteem and relationship coach, podcaster, and recovering anxious dater who is passionate about helping women reclaim their worth in life and love. I'm determined to put an end to you feeling too much, crazy or needy by giving you the inside scoop on why love makes you feel that way and how you can break free from people in patterns that enhance your insecurities. Now, in response to the question, look, I don't know the absolute reality of how things were going. I don't know if there were things that you knew that you pretended you didn't know. I don't know if you know in your heart that this person is not your person. I also don't know if the only reason you're really bothered about this situation is because you are totally and utterly triggered by rejection, because that is what happens to a lot of the women that relate to the work that I do. What I do know, by the very fact that you've asked this question in the first place, is that you feel like you need an answer. You need this to make sense. Your ego needs to know that this is not about you. Your inner critic wants a reason to blame you, and your inner child just wants to be picked. When we perceive there has been a change, a sudden change in someone's feelings towards us, it is a real struggle. It's very, very real. The truth of the matter is, it could be one of the reasons that you've mentioned. It could be a combination of the reasons you've mentioned. It might be none of the reasons you've mentioned. In an ideal world, you can ask this person and you can get a clear answer. If that is a possibility, go with it, run with it, ask the hard question and accept the answer. But here's the thing, it often isn't so simple. You are either faced with someone who isn't going to tell you the truth because perhaps they don't know, they don't want to hurt your feelings, or sadly in some cases, maybe they don't care. And I know that hurts. On the other hand, maybe you're never going to ask the hard question because you're afraid of the answer. You don't know how to communicate yourself. And maybe you're afraid of looking needy or looking like you care. So let's be clear again. This is a really challenging situation, especially for those of you who follow and relate to my work. In fact, this might be one of the most agonizing things that you can experience, that sudden shift. There's a few things here to make this time a little bit easier for yourself. And that's what I'm going to share with you now. So the first thing I work with my clients around in these kinds of situations is understanding what happens when a story seems incomplete, when there is confusion, when you find yourself in an ambiguous situation. We don't like that. And that is when overthinking happens. So at this stage, I want you to find clarity and peace in the fact that this doesn't make sense. It seems like 1 minute they were into you and the next minute they weren't. Like, how strange. But it is very common. So at this point, I'm working with my clients to complete this story, to help them make this make sense, even when it doesn't. And it is in those moments that you're truly able to let go. And sometimes that means that the ending of this story is that it seems unfinished. It doesn't make sense. There is freedom in that fact. The next thing for you is that I really strongly encourage you to not take this personally. You are going to remain stuck here for much longer if you are making this about you. If you are ruminating over the shoulda, woulda, couldas, this is going to be much, much harder for you to move through. There is another person involved here with feelings and life experiences and their own wounds and their own views of the world. And if you're someone who just blames yourself, that is something to work on, because this is not just about you. There are two people involved here, and you must remember that. Again, I am going to say this. I know that you feel like you could move on if you just knew what happened. And I'm here to tell you and give you the confidence to know that you can move on. You can let go of this just the way it is. Just the way this has played out. Just the way it has been. Just the way it is. Your mind will get lost in the ways that it should be, could be, that you hoped it would be. But that is not your reality. Your reality is that you were seeing someone and it all seemed to be going well. And out of nowhere, there was a shift. That is your reality. And now with that information, I ask you, what is your next move? If you are finding it hard to control your attention and stop thinking about this, I have a podcast episode that you can listen to now on how to stop obsessing and stop overthinking about your crush, your love interest, your ex. I will put a link to that so that you can have a listen and really dive into how to just stop that obsession. Take the ideas that I've spoken about here and make them suit you today. Whether that is to have the hard conversation, ask the hard question. Whether that is to remind yourself that this doesn't make sense, it doesn't. And that isn't about you. This situation is not your fault. You must know that, because this situation is going to hold you back from the extraordinary, healthy, happy love and attention that you actually deserve and desire. Now look, if this is a regular pattern that you fall into, then I have an option for you. I have created a unique, cozy, transformative space of the internet for women who lose themselves in love. It is a monthly membership offering you coaching, training, support, and a space for you to know that you are not alone, because trust me, that is one of the most powerful things that you can know. You're not alone. You're not crazy, you're not needy, you're not too much. You are so welcome inside this membership. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader as you become your own biggest cheerleader. Now remember, you are enough, you are lovable, you are so, so worthy, and you are irreplaceable.